Welcome to Flow360 training webinars. In this session we will be covering document management and control. We're going to look at uploading documents, linking them to resources and objects. We're going to look at how documents are shared and also how access can be restricted to certain personnel. We'll cover the automatic distribution of documents on works orders and help desk issues, and we'll take a look at collaborating on maintaining documents and version control. So, what do we mean by a document? It is literally any electronic document. Typically, this might be photos, spreadsheets, reference manuals and guides, site, building plans, schematics, certificates, inspection reports, and so on. Essentially, any document you have on your computer can be uploaded to Flow360 and linked to objects, made available to others, or simply stored in your own private document library for future reference. So let's now take a look at just how easy it is to upload a new document to Flow360. I'm logged in as Tim, our friendly manager, on our King's College site in the demo solution. And I'm going to start by going to my documents list, and that will give me access to all documents that I have the right to see, and I want to add a new document just to the library. So in order to do that, I'm going to use the New button at the top right here. That allows me to go to my computer. I can select Choose File, and I'll go to my computer and I want to upload a new photograph. So I'm going to select that from my computer and then click the Upload button in the File Upload dialog, and that uploads the document to Flow360 and adds it to my document library. If we go through now to the new record that's been created for that document, we can have a look at what's been set. We can see a thumbnail here on the right for the document itself. We can see the file name and the summary and the description, and we can see that I am the owner of the document currently, and that access is open to anybody in the services group. Now, if I want to change the file name or the summary or the description, because I'm the owner, I can type in, so I'd prefer to have a capital L there, for instance, and we'll just call it library photo instead of just library, so that it's a bit more obvious when people are looking at the list what the document is. If I want to look at the document quickly, just to check, I can click on the thumbnail and that will open the document up. If it's a document that is suitable for opening in a web browser, such as a JPEG or another photograph or a PDF, then it will tend to open in the browser. Otherwise, it'll download the document again to your computer. So having uploaded this document, now maybe I need to attach the photograph to a specific building. So I'm going to jump back to the start. We're going to find the library building, and the one I want is this one at King's College, and you can see currently there is no photograph as the key image for this building, and I want to now link the image that I've just uploaded. So I'm going to go to my Docs tab here where there are currently no documents listed, and I'm going to click the little Attach button. This allows me to select a document that's already in the Flow360 document library and attach it to this object, in this case the library building. I can also, from this Docs tab list, use the Add New Document button to select a document from my computer, upload it to the document library and link it to this building all in one go. Now, we're not going to do that because we've already uploaded the photo of the library itself, so we simply want to attach it at this point. So I'm going to use the paperclip button, link an existing document. I'll say yes to that. And by default, the list of documents, the first 100 documents that load, will be the 100 most recent documents that I have access to. So conveniently, the document that I have just uploaded is the first one on the list, and I can simply click the little target button to drop that one down into my current selection, and then top right here I'll click Confirm in order to link that document to the library building. Notice also that the photo that I've now linked has automatically been indicated as the key image for this library. And that happens because there were currently no documents listed, and I've listed and linked the first document, and therefore it'll assume that that's an appropriate image to use for the key image for this building. I can always change that later if I want to. I can delete or remove the link so that it no longer shows as the key image, or I can add additional documents and select those as the key image, and we'll look at those processes a little bit further on in this webinar. So we've seen how the process works for uploading a photograph to the main documents library and then linking it separately to an object. Let's look at doing all of that in one go now. So I'm going to go back to buildings, I'm going to go into the library and to the ground floor, and I want now to upload the floor plan for the ground floor and automatically set that as the key image, and also then set it as the primary plan for that location. And I can do all of that from the Docs tab, so I go to the Docs tab list and I'll click the button to say add a new document, and we'll again choose the file, and in this case we want the ground floor plan, which is here, and I'll click open and I'll click on upload, and that has uploaded the document to the document library. It's now listed in the list for the ground floor, and you can see it's been placed as the key image. And down here on the tab list, have a look at the tick in the column here with the P above it. The P indicates that this document is a primary plan for this current location, and in fact if you hover over that you get a tooltip that confirms that. And that means, for example, if I click the little plan button here, show plan, it will open that specific floor plan as the primary plan for that location. And it also means that when I start looking at adding help desk issues or service requests for this particular location in the new help desk issue request form, I also have access directly to the floor plans for the different locations, or the primary plan for that location or building. So let's have a look now at doing exactly that. So on the ground floor of the library, I'm going to go to the Areas tab, and we're going to move into Reading Room 1, and in Reading Room 1 I want to log a new help desk issue, so I'm going to click the help desk issue button, and you can see of course it's pre-populated the location to the reading room on the ground floor of the library. And if I want to just check the floor plan for the ground floor, I've got some plan buttons here, and I can click that little plan button and it will allow me to pop up the floor plan for the ground floor in a separate tab on my computer or device in order to check the floor plan before finally confirming that it is actually Reading Room 1 that I need to log a new issue for. Back at the main start screen now, let's have a look at how you find documents that you know are already in the documents library. So from the start screen we have a quick find option underneath the documents button itself, and this works essentially off the document title. So if I know that we have a document that has schema as part of its name and I type in schema, I will get a list of documents that are matching that particular name. In this case, Boiler Services Schematic, and I can click on the little Go To button to go to the record for that particular document. If I want to view the document, I can simply click on the thumbnail and that will open the document up or download it depending on my preferences. Sometimes, of course, I want to look for something much more specific rather than just searching randomly by name. And if I go to the main documents list, I can then use the filter options. So I can open up the filter panel by clicking on the Find button, and now I can look for things covering much broader set of criteria. So I can look for documents that have a particular file type, I can look for current status, I can look for documents that were added by a particular person, or with specified custom data, which might include author name or version number, ISBN numbers, those sorts of things. Let's look at a couple of examples. Well, one useful one is simply being able to look for documents that have been added recently. So I want to find documents that were added within, say, the past month, no matter who added them. And if I click that, then I get, in this case, a relatively short list of documents that are newly added to the list. Now let's say I want to find all documents added by a particular person. Again, I can use the filter panel to do that. So I click on the Find button and I have an option here, Added By. And if I click in there, I can type in part of somebody's name. So in this case, if we say Added by Tim, that gives me a complete list of all documents that were added by Tim. And of course, I can use that with other criteria as well. So I might say, actually, what I'm interested in is just the documents added by Tim in the past month. And we get this list, and I can see TJ, Tim Jones, is the owner of all of these documents. Let's now go back to our library ground floor plan document record and just look at a few more of the options and settings that relate to sharing and ownership of the document. We've already seen in this case that Tim Jones, as the person I'm currently logged in as, is the owner of the document, and by default the owner is the person who uploads the document in the first instance. If I want to assign the document specifically to someone else as the owner, I have the option here to click the little Change Owner button, and that will pop up a list of my contacts, and I can select a different contact and say, you are now the owner of this particular document. I can also make changes to the access control on this particular document. It's currently set to Services Group, and my personal preferences are set so that when I upload a new document, it is automatically set to Services Group. But I can change that if I want to. So I might want to make a document completely private, in which case no one else using Flow360, even those people that I share information with, will be able to see that document because it will be completely private. The client group opens up access to the document to senior management on the site, whereas the site group then brings in other managers and surveyors. The employer group will then include employees, so members of staff who are employed on the site, and the services group opens that up further to include all service providers who have access to the site or relationships with the site in one way or another, both internal and external service providers and contractors. And the final option here on the access list is the list option, and if I select the list option, I will then go to the access list tab and use the plus button here to start adding names to the list. So let's say I want this document to only be shared with a few other people. So maybe I want Steve Petters and Jonah Simmons both to be able to have access to this document by clicking the confirm button. Those names are now added to the access list, and along with myself as the owner, those are the only 3 people now who will be able to access this particular document until I make some further changes. Now, while we're talking about sharing access to documents and making documents that I have added specifically available to other named individuals, I need to show you a setting on the preferences that allows you to automatically share documents that you have added with specified individuals only. So I'm going to go to my preferences by clicking the preference button here in the sidebar, and in my preferences I have a tab that says Docs Sharing. Now I can use the Add button here to add individual names to this list, and I can see John Jones and Janet Williams are already there. And by adding a name to this list, I am saying that these people automatically have access rights to any document that I upload, and I can control this access a little bit more finely with 3 additional options. A tick in the V column means that this person has view-only access to the document. They can view it, they can't do anything else. A tick in the C column indicates that they will, by default, be a collaborator. They can upload new versions and revisions of a particular document. And a tick in the O column would indicate that that person has complete shared ownership of the document and can do as an owner anything in terms of changing access levels or other settings that relate to that document. They can do all of the same things that I, as the document owner, am able to do. This level of automatic control of sharing of documents can be invaluable when you have shared management across a site and you need to ensure that anything that you add to the system is going to be visible and available to other management users as well, without you having to change everything each time you upload a new document. Back on the document record for the library ground floor plan, now let's look at adding some additional custom data, author information, version numbers and so on to this particular document. So on the document record, if I click on the custom tab and then click the add new custom data item, I can begin adding these things in. So let's say we want to add first of all author, and I want to specify that Tim Jones is the author of this particular document. I'm going to click that again, and we want to add a version number to this. This is going to be version 1. And I can add additional information as and when I need to. So I can add an additional reference, an ISBN number, Dewey classification, and so on. I'll cancel that now. So that allows you to add any additional information, and all of that information is also searchable when you use the document filters. On the Categories tab, you can categorize documents and again then use those categorizations in order to help you find sets of documents. So in the same way as we add custom data by clicking the little Add New button on the right hand side of the list, I do the same here, and now I can go to a particular scheme. So OmniClass is a scheme that can be used for categorizing all sorts of things, including information. So we're going to categorize this floor plan as project information, and we're going to specify that it is also design information, and we'll click confirm. So that adds project information as a main category, design information as a subcategory to this document, and when we're using the filters we can find documents that have that particular categorization. So if I now go to my documents list and I use the find button and this time go to the category tab, I can then say, okay, so it's OmniClass, information, project information. Maybe I don't want to go down to subcategory, I just want to pull all documents that are categorized as project information, and that brings up a subset of documents. Now remember, when you're using the filters, that you can of course combine criteria across all of the tabs that are available in the filter panel, so you could also look for documents that fall within a particular subcategory and category and are linked to a specific resource, for example. And let's look now at finding documents that are linked to a particular resource, object or location. So on the filter panels for the documents I also have a resource button, and we're going to say what we're interested in here is I want documents that are linked to the boarding houses. And when I finally click the find button, it will bring me a list of those documents, and of course I can jump directly to any of these documents by simply clicking the little go to button at the beginning of the appropriate row. I can also use the little pop-up just to pop up an outline information dialog that shows me a thumbnail of the image itself and basic information such as file name, description, author and so on. So now let's have a look at what happens when we want to open a document and maybe download it or print it. I'm going to go to the fridge datasheet here on my list, and if I simply click the thumbnail, then by default, on the basis of my current settings, that's going to open the document up as a PDF in my browser. If I want to download that document, having opened it, of course, I can do that using the standard PDF controls that are in the browser. In this case, I have a download option here in Chrome that allows me to download the document. Different browsers have the button in different locations, but the same facility is available in all. And of course, you can print it directly from the browser window as well. I also have a preference control in my personal preferences that I can go to that allows me to change how that default process works. So The Stored Documents download option here in my personal preferences is currently set to Show All Possible in Browser. If I change that to Download All and I return to my document and I click the thumbnail, then that's now downloaded the document rather than opening it directly in the browser. And I can change that preference setting whenever I want to. Show All Possible in Browser will put it back to where it was, and that changes the way that the solution reacts when I click on the thumbnail or click the button to view or open a document. Back on the King's College site record, let's just have a quick look at a couple of things relating to primary plans and key images. For the King's College site, we can see we've got a key image here at the top right, and I can make any listed document the key image simply by clicking the little button here which says basically assign this image as the key image thumbnail above. So if I want Senior House Side Entrance to be the key image on this record card, I simply click that button and the image changes over. If I want to go back to that photograph of the main building, again I just click the little button there and it sets that as the key image for this record. The controls next to the image itself allow me in sequence. The first one simply allows me to clear the image, so it doesn't delete the document at all, it simply unsets it as the key image for this particular site or object. The next button is basically the same as clicking on the image itself and allows me to launch or view the document. And finally, the bottom one allows me to select a different document as the source for the thumbnail image from my documents library, and that would take me to the documents list to select a different document. We've already explored a little bit the primary plan button, and I just want to draw your attention to the fact that the primary plan is indicated by a tick in this column with the P. So currently it's showing main building JPEG plan, and if I click the plan button then it's going to launch that document. Now if I decide that's not the plan that I want attached as the primary plan for King's College, then I can simply go to the relevant listed document. Remember, you can always filter the list or sort the list first to find the document that you want, but let's assume that site plan is the one I actually want as the primary plan. Then I simply click in the P column in order to set that as the primary plan, and now if I click the primary plan button, that loads up a different document which is a more general site plan. We're now going to explore the question of key documents. The importance with key documents is that these are documents that can be automatically attached to incoming help desk issues, fault reports, service requests, and also automatically attached to outgoing works orders and instructions. So we're going to have a look at the asbestos register document record. And on that document record we can see 3 tick boxes on the right hand side that are currently all set. Now the first one, the key document tick box, if that is set, it means that this document will be automatically attached to outgoing works orders as an important bit of information that needs to be communicated to outside service providers, contractors, and indeed the internal workforce when they are issued with a formal works instruction that affects any part of the site that this document is linked to. So that's the first option. Underneath that we have 2 additional ticks, both currently set for this document. The second one, marked Help Desk, will mean that the asbestos register document is also automatically attached to any incoming help desk issues or service requests, again, that relate to the location or locations that the asbestos register document is linked to. And remember, the Links tab will allow you to confirm all of the objects, all of the things that this document is and has ever been linked to. Finally then, the HD Services tick allows me to first of all specify that the document needs to be automatically assigned to incoming services requests for locations that the document is linked to, and the little pop-up allows me to specify exactly which services that applies to. So in this case, Cleaning, General and ICT will all get this document attached if a service request for either of these three areas is logged in the system for a location that the asbestos register document is currently linked to. Now finally, we're going to have a quick look at version control and see how that works. So we're going to go back to the start screen. I'm going to go back to my documents list and revisit the ground floor plan that we uploaded earlier. And we can see that this is currently on version 1, and what I want to do is actually upload a new version, maybe because we've made some changes to that ground floor plan. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on the version button, and I go through the same process as I did when uploading the document initially. So we're going to find our new version for the ground floor plan. We're going to click open and upload. And that has now added version 2 as a new document, and you can see here that we are now on version 2 because the custom tab has a version item there that says number 2. And we can see also that we have a little red arrow here that links us back to version 1. So the status of this version is this is the current version, and if I click this button it will take me back to the previous version, version 1, which is now marked as superseded. And the green arrow here will take me forwards from the superseded document to the current version. And if we were to upload in the future further version revisions of this document, they will all be linked together in sequence in that way so that you can backtrack over time should you need to, and you always retain the original versions in Flow360, and you retain the fact that maybe it was version 1 that was linked to a particular works instruction 6 months ago, but works instructions that we are issuing today are actually having version 2 attached to them. Note also that when you upload a new version, links are automatically recreated to fixed objects that the document is linked to. So if this is a site plan that is linked to the site, then by uploading a new version, that link will be updated so that when people go to the site and look at, say, the primary floor plan, what they will see is the current version rather than the earlier version. Well, that wraps up our session on document management and control. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Don't forget that you have a user guide that will help you. So if we click on the button there and maybe look for documents, then we find a whole section on document storage and sharing and individual lessons that step you through those processes. So do remember to use that. Check out our YouTube channel for additional webinars on using Flow360, and we hope you found this session useful.